Comedy.
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 Commedia. Comedy.
Ciao. Welcome to the Comedy Hall.
Perfect.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Comedy Hall podcast. This is Beatrice.
Yeah.
And here we are with Jordan.
Jordan. Ciao.
Ariel.
Woo!
And Ricky.
And our special guest.
Special.
Ricky Krzyzewski.
Yeah, very good.
Ricky
K.
Yes.
Our special guest, Ricky. Ricky, we're so excited to have you because you're one of our favorites, and I think you're
thank
one
you.
of the audience's favorites in general.
Yeah.
Your crowd favorite, Ricky.
I love them. I love them also.
Yeah, it's true. When Ricky's on stage, people, you have fans, like people that comes to see you.
I really appreciate that. I am humbled. I am very humbled.
Ricky's like, I needed this so much.
Yeah, I did. Feel more. Give me more. Yeah.
And Ricky, so basically, just to let people know who aren't going to any Comedy Hole shows, perhaps there's some listeners who don't go.
Who are those people?
Who are they? You should reach out.
Fuck those people. No.
I
Come to our shows if you never came.
Yeah, I don't know who those people would be, but just in case. Ricky, I mean, on Tuesday shows, I'll usually put him last because he's a closer. He's a closer. Everyone loves Ricky.
Everybody. Sometimes I have my period. You know.
Yeah. Once in a while.
For who doesn't know, today I have my period. Because this will pop up anyway during this conversation. I know that Jordan will.
Why would I talk about it?
You will.
Yeah, Jordan, idiot.
It's so hard to love you guys.
But Ricky, what was your first open mic ever?
Oh, okay, that's an amazing story. Okay, it was just people were doing open mic, and it wasn't. Okay, there was this place. First of all, the first place I ever saw it was Chłodna 25, which was a cafe that doesn't exist anymore.
It was here in Poland.
Yeah. 10 years ago, and I went downstairs and listened to like now. I'm not pandering. We have a lot of good comedians, but back then we didn't. So I went to this open mic. And I said, these guys fucking suck. I could do 10 times better than that. And then for some reason I waited. And there was a place called Świetlica, not Świetlica Wolności, Świetlica on Marszałkowska Street.
Yeah, I know that one.
And they had an open mic, and DJ told me about it because I knew DJ from the improv community.
Okay.
And I didn't perform. I would just go and watch him. And he said, yeah, we're having an open mic. Ravi was there. And so Ravi was present. DJ was present. And this guy named Grzegorz was filming me. He filmed it. It's on YouTube. My first
bellissimo.
My first ever time. Because why was it filmed? Because it was supposed to be one time, bucket list, finished, have a nice day. But I went up and I was given 15 minutes. And
15 minutes was your first open mic? Jesus.
Yeah. First time ever, but because we didn't have, I think there was 4 performers that night. It was just so small time 10 years ago. And Ravi was there in the audience, and nobody was really sort of paying attention to each other. And I went up and it was so polished because for about a month, I knew every sentence that was going to come out of my mouth. I knew the pauses in the sentences that I was going to make. And so I did this whole thing, and it was almost completely based on impressions. It was based on, the whole thing was when I was young, we had, heroes and role models, and now they just have, I'm Thor. And I was doing you get to the chopper, do it now. And I was doing the Sylvester Stallone, and I did the Liam Neeson thing, and I was just pounding all these impersonations. And this guy, he was filming me, and he was laughing the whole time. And I didn't know him. It was just a guy in the audience. This Grzegorz, and we became friends. But I said, look, I'm just doing this first time, last time. This is a bucket list kind of thing. Can you film me? And so he's filming, and the camera's shaking, and he's laughing, and I hear Ravi laughing. And I still have it to this day, and I put it on YouTube.
Now, when you watch it, are you like, oh, this is terrible? Or are you like, no, it's all right?
Well, it's all right, but I wouldn't do the same things anymore because the jokes are a bit corny and a bit too reliant on
Yeah, I get it.
So you shouldn't do that.
So then you did that one.
How did you feel?
Yeah, I felt really like Arena reminded me when she did the first time, because she did the first time and she came off the stage and she says, "Oh, I feel so fantastic," and it's it's like a narcotic. You feel like you've been injected with like some sort of, I don't even know what the drug would be. Like, I don't know, but what's the one that makes you feel really, really, really good?
Heroin?
No, dopamine. I guess
it's adrenaline. I guess.
Yeah, and so I got off the stage and I said, "Oh my god,
I mean, heroin.
That's what they say. They say it's the happiness thing. You never want to come down from that. And so then I was just, oh my God, that was really a really good time. And then like a week went by, and this guy, we're saying names now, aren't we? Oh, it's gonna be terrible.
We can bleep it if you want.
This guy.
Name and last name.
Yeah. But he called me and he said, I saw your open mic and I was wondering if you'd mind hosting. And he wanted me to go right from first time to hosting. And I said, oh, you know what, that might in fact be easier because then it's just I've seen hosts before and it's just kind of little snippets.
Yeah.
And so I was just hosting for a while. I didn't do it, and then I broke in and I planned another set.
Okay.
But then after that, it was I just got hooked. I just got hooked. But so I went very long open mic performance to host, and then second open mic, and then the rest was history.
And you stopped hosting?
Yeah, then I said, I much prefer performing than the hosting responsibilities. It's just too much.
Right, because you're a good host. We hosted together on that one. I mean, it's natural to you, just like friendliness and being open.
I wish I had been more sort of well prepared for that because you should have something to say for the buffering moment kind of things. But I remember a couple times there, I don't know. Our bosses are here. I was kind of like, what can I say about our next performer?
Right.
And now's the perfect time to bring up.
Let's give it up.
Yeah.
What are we giving up again?
We're gonna say, Ariel?
I was just gonna say, when we were hosting. I mean, it is fun with you to host because it's like, I mean, it's free and. Hosting in general is kind of free.
Because there's you don't have to worry about your material.
And also you can use the audience to create new material.
Where are you guys from? Yeah.
Right.
But so after that, it just became this. There was really three of us. It was me, Ravi, and Andrzej Sosnowski, and then we just sort of became this little triumvirate of comedy. That was we went to Loco next over on, near the Palm.
Yeah.
And then these other places, and we went to Resort, and then sometimes we would the Shumovskis had this English open mic at Resort often.
Right,
about
Ravi talked about that.
7 or 8 years ago. And then so we were doing that and it was very successful. And
I didn't know you knew Ravi for that long.
Yeah, 10 years.
DJ too, I didn't know was...
Yeah, 10 years. Yeah. Both of them, we're all sort of met together at the same time.
You know?
Yeah.
He's been here that long?
He's been here. No, not that we know.
Okay.
This Yes.
Yes. I know to whom you are referring.
Yes.
Don't worry. I think I know where to cut.
Yeah. Fun guy. So it's been a long time. So yes, I am not a beginner. Yeah.
You don't seem like a beginner. You're extremely consistent.
Thank you. But there's been there's also the terrible break during COVID, and that it can't be underestimated how absolutely awful that was for performers and people who are addicted to a stage. You actually find out the stage is like a drug. Give me some stage.
I think we feel it now. Like if they would stop if we had to stop performing now, I would feel depressed. Like dying.
COVID-22.
For me, it's everything.
I was bummed to not go on Wednesday. I really wanted to. And like, even that from Tuesday and then I'll perform Saturday, I'm already kind of like nervous. I'm like, ooh, I haven't performed for a while.
B and I were talking about, have we done 100 shows yet? And sort of doing some math of both of us, we sort of have only skipped like a couple of shows.
Yeah, so definitely we've done 100 shows.
Over a year. Yeah, definitely. And there were weeks I did like 7 because it was like traveling and things like that. But also weeks where I did 1 or 2. So.
What's your, Jordan, because you're super prepared. Let's follow your fucking list.
All right. Ricky. What is your favorite color?
That's a really, my son just had this question. My son has English at school. Okay. And he came from a bilingual school and went to this Polish school. And they're like, what's your favorite color? And he's like, well, it depends. Are we talking about clothes? Are we talking about
such a good answer.
Probably magenta if we're talking about magenta. I like a nice t-shirt. But if we're talking about in general, what colors? I like nice light colors. And the teacher was like, she thought, like, I was expecting maybe orange.
Yeah. That's a smart answer because it's true. Like I love green because I love plants. Like I love looking at it. But
that's not the context. But the whole joke is that the other kids were just saying like blue, red, red, yellow, chocolate. yeah.
Okay,
But my answer, my son's answer was perfect. It really depends on the context.
I'll mark that answer as correct.
Yeah.
Can you tell the story about when you were on Mom Talent?
Oh, that's a unbelievable story. Yeah.
What?
I was on Mom Talent. Poland's Got Talent.
Poland's Got Talent.
Oh, I thought it said Mom Talent.
Mom Talent.
Yeah.
So for
It was a Mrs. Doubtfire situation.
I can breastfeed. I got my Mom Talent.
So for the listeners who don't speak Polish, mom means I have. So it's like Poland has
Poland's
talent.
Got Talent. It's actually the franchise, the show. It's the same franchise, the same producers, the same everything. So, okay, basically, I was really good at karaoke. I was doing these karaoke. I was doing Elvis Presley, but really hamming it up. So I would sing Elvis Presley. I would become Elvis, and I would really, really ham it. I would do the lip like, oh yeah, wise men say, oh, only fools seen. And with the music, and people were really going nuts. And I was doing the karate because I'm kind of like the fat Elvis, the old fat. I'm not like the young. Well, it's one for the month. No, I'm kind of like the the big fat guy at the piano.
Did you do that thing? It's on purpose?
I've seen him do it.
Yeah.
Can you, Ariel, can you try to do Elvis Presley now?
Just like an out of breath. I'm like, Jesus, only fools.
On a golden gray Chicago morning, and a little baby child's born in the ghetto.
in the ghetto. Really?
But so anyway, I would really ham it up, and people. But you have to understand the culture of Elvis, and I'm like an Elvis fanatic because of my dad. My dad was an Elvis fan, and so I knew Elvis through all the stages of his life, and I knew that he was just kind of like, he was still sexy. He was kind of a Tom Jonesy kind of old guy doing the karate on stage, and so he used to do that, and so
Look out, man!
Look out, man! I got no karate. So I would go to karaoke, and people would really just go bananas, right? But because I think they sort of got the thing, and it was a lot of alcohol and hamming it up. So I went to the producers of Mom Talent when they had the casting, and I sang. I sang relatively seriously. I didn't do any of the things, and I think they liked my story. They liked the song. They liked the fact that I was a Polish kid who'd sort of come back to Poland.
Oh yeah, that's huge in Poland. If you come back,
they kind of liked that story. And I can't help falling in love with you could mean Poland.
Oh,
yeah. So it was somehow I squeaked through 2 auditions and then auditioned for the producer, this guy named Wojciech Iwański, that's his real name, the producer of the show. He's produced Big Brother here and all sorts of stuff. And so, I get a text message that I'm in for the actual taping. And so I went, and okay, what happened was, and I'm going to, like, huge spoiler alert, I got the 3 big X's, just like that.
Okay. We'll cut this out and tell it from here.
but what a lot of people don't know is I was my message, my branding, my marketing was so unclear. I was neither a very particularly good singer, nor was I funny. And now, had I chosen to be one or the other, had I chosen to be a remarkable singer, I would have done fine.
Wait, you could choose to be a remarkable singer?
I could have tried harder,
right?
And maybe as an impersonator.
In Poland, if your accent is really good, sometimes that actually goes a long way.
English so good, yeah.
right.
Or if I decided to make it a huge, ridiculous lampoon of Elvis, that would have also been successful.
Right.
But I was completely committed to neither, and so they were just looking at me like, "What the hell are you? Are you?" I think at one point they said something to that extent, like, "Are you a singer or a comedian?" And the guy said, Egorola, one of the judges, said, "Katastrofa."
Oh no!
So yeah, but I got a good solid minute in.
After that,
were
you devastated?
I was very, very, very sad.
That doesn't sound like fun time.
Yeah,
Before we talk about the aftermath,
especially in TV, like
it was on
in
TV.
front,
It was
in front.
Can we just role play a little bit? So you start as Elvis, you come out on stage, you start your act, and then we'll play it out. Okay.
Okay.
So I am one of the judges.
Yeah, we're all 3 of us are judges.
But I have to do some of the because this is very, very, very important to the story. I was singing, and then all of a sudden the reaction was kind of like this,
like arms crossed, not into it.
But for the whole audience were just kind of like,
Yeah.
And then so I said, Jesus, this isn't my karaoke audience. this doesn't happen at karaoke.
That's tough. Ladies and gentlemen, ready for Poland Mom Talent.
Here we go with
Ricky K.
First of all, they talk to you, right? They say, well, so what's your name?
That's right. Sir, what's your name?
Of course, this was all in Polish. My name is Ricky Krzyzewski.
Ricky Krzyzewski. Okay, and what are you going to do for us today?
I'm going to sing Elvis.
Elvis.
wow.
Good luck, Ricky.
When did I discover my talent for singing?
Oh, yeah. Oh, and when did you discover your talent for singing?
Oh, I was very young because my dad was a huge fan.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, I'm very interested in this story.
Yes,
you and
me
your
too.
dad.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So are you late stage Elvis?
I wish they had asked that. I wish they had known the difference. They're just like, Elvis, come. She says, come on. Yeah. Oh, there's a clip by the way. online. You can see it. Yeah. So and then I started.
All right. Please go ahead.
When I point to you, I want you to give me the "and."
Okay.
Wise men say, oh, only fools rushing. But I said I can't help falling in love with.
I forgot what was going on.
Catastrophe.
So I actually got a bit further into the song than that, but I wanted to speed it along for but it sort of went like that. And he said he kept on twice Edgar Rolla, because he's the famous dance guy. He kept on saying, he says, what was with that choreography? And I said it's not. I didn't have a chance to sort of explain myself, but I I should have said, I would have said, I could have said, I was like, why do you keep calling it choreography? It's
You're like, I'm a buffoon.
that's what he does. That's what Elvis does. Have you never seen Elvis Presley before in your entire life?
Yeah.
And he's like, catastrophe. And then this Małgorzata Foremniak, the third judge, because there's three of them, and I know the three of them. She says, we can because I was a sweet, endearing, kind of not very intimidating person, and not very confrontational. And Małgorzata said, "Look, we can see you're a really nice guy. Przesympatyczny gość." She said,
very nice guy.
Very nice guy, but that was awful.
Oh my God, this is terrible.
Yeah. That's the worst part
It's
of
like
it.
they put you there to insult you.
I think that I was, because I remember I told you that I performed quite serious at the audition, squeaked through the second one because they liked my story, and then eventually got to the Iwański. And I think the producer said,
This is the joke one.
tick, that's our buffoon.
Yeah.
That's the
You got hung.
yeah, I got hung out to dry. Yeah, it was
But you know this reference, Ed Hung was his name? She bangs.
Hung. Yeah.
Hung?
He had the last laugh because he became a millionaire.
Yeah.
But that
She moves. Oh, baby, what you moves.
But that is like the worst part of it. It's not like getting kicked off of that show is a big deal, but but just fucking being insulted.
You know, my mom came from Canada to see that she was in the audience.
Oh man.
I had my sister-in-law was in the audience.
Fuck this TV show. I'm sorry, but
And the thing is, I wanted to do a good job. So I'm going to tell I can't. I mean, you don't have to cut this. You don't have to cut this. But after I think somebody was cutting an onion around me. I got a little teared up. After the show when I was well away, and I was sad because I had this vision. I was kind of using the law of attraction. I was visualizing success to make it happen. and
manifestation.
Yeah, and it just completely blew up in my face, and I was just like this buffoon. I'm like, oh my God, that's going to go on the tele. And what happens is it's not filmed live. There's this whole editing process that lasts a month.
Right.
So we did that in August, and then around September, October, we're waiting for the thing to air, and it actually aired about 3 episodes in. So once the show started, we had to wait for 3 episodes in, and then I remember I was married at the time, and she was. I couldn't even be near the television, so she was in the living room, and she says, "Oh no." and because I was the first, and they always opened the show
with a buffoon. Yeah. Now I just realized, like, how long ago was this?
God, I think about 8 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
No, wait, my son was alive. My son's 10. He was about I was going to say 8 or 9 years.
so you've done stand up a couple times and stuff already.
At this point.
Yeah. Oh, geez, that's actually a good question. So I have to do all the math. My son was 10. He was a very, very small boy. So 9. I might have done stand up. Yeah, I might have been doing stand up for about 6 months. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, but it never occurred to me for one moment to do English stand up. On the Mam Talent stage, because it just wouldn't make sense. But it did help with my nerves, so I wasn't as nervous.
It's interesting also to think about like such an embarrassing moment for you that like nobody gives a shit when like we see you on stage and no one would think like, oh, what an embarrassing moment he once had. Like nobody even knows.
Also,
about that
now
shit.
if you do a solo show, you can put Poland's Got Talent logo on there. It's just
you may
just
know
a
our
good
next
thing.
guest from having appeared on Poland's Got Talent. His very successful, in his opinion, appearance on Poland's Got Talent.
perception.
Totally.
Yeah, it's all about how you pitch it. But it's a true story. And, there's been lots of people that have done it. Like there was this English stand-up comedian, Jim Williams, who did it also. But he was great because he had been in clown school. And he's just the American guy and he did mime. And it was really, 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 really
weird,
funny.
okay.
Yeah, he's out of Wrocław.
Okay.
I want to go to clown classes.
School?
Yeah.
You should.
Yeah. I think I should.
You should.
It's a thing. People,
There are?
Yeah, it's actually like you get a diploma. It's
They're-
taken quite seriously.
There are comedians, successful ones that call
Steve-O
themselves
Yeah.
clowns. Yeah,
That's right. Steve-O
It's a
did.
thing.
I mean, it's a plus, right? Like to learn something else because you can always use your clown skills.
Listen, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
and so knowing anything about comedy is good.
Yeah.
You
It's
can get
helpful.
an advanced degree, so you can get a master's in.
But where do you study those? Where do you study this?
Yeah.
But I'm also interested in studying, like reading books about those people studying.
So
not
the
all-
books you can get at the library. It's called a library.
No,
YouTube
because I
also
need the
might be a
pressure
good
that I have to
resource.
have an exam to read nowadays.
I'm going to test you.
Okay,
in 1
deal,
month, I
deal.
want you to at least have picked up one book.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can pick up one of these.
Wait, I'm going to write it down that Bea
Yeah.
needs to read
I
a
will.
clown book.
I will give you the name of a book and then.
But you have to. There's things you have to practice. You have to do like mime. You have to do juggling, riding a unicycle. You have to.
What is unicycle?
the one
wheel?
one
No, but
wheel.
I don't want to. I'm not interested in.
That's being a clown. You have to be a clown.
Yeah, you got to be a
How
clown.
to scrunch into a car with all sorts of people.
Actually, what that said, like when you were a kid in high school, did you do plays and things like that?
Yeah, well, I did this. I did like acting. I did improv, and I was terrible.
high
But
school?
yeah. But we used to always do. I'm sure you had lots of things where you'd do assemblies, and you'd be invited to do like sketches and stuff like that. And oh my goodness, a lot of it was just Saturday Night Live ripoffs and stuff like this. Like you'd get the guys at high school. One time I played Garth in Wayne and Garth.
Sure.
And so, and I played Super Dave Osborne one time, our Canadian hero. And so I spent some time on stage and also musically because I play saxophone and I was in a jazz band.
You play
and-
saxophone.
Yeah, it's actually my main.
Do you
axe.
still play sax ever?
I had a saxophone until I sold it just about a year ago.
Oh,
During
okay.
the whole
Buy a new
COVID
one,
thing.
man.
Yeah,
Gotta show up
I've
to-
got to. Yeah, get a nice alto.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time. The sax.
Yeah, it's very sexy. I was very, 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 very good. But when you don't practice every day, you start to go.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
More questions? I wanted to ask you about my favorite joke of yours,
Oh, okay.
which is a joke of mine. It's the zombie granddad joke.
No,
Oh
wait.
my! Oh, you know that he organized this
One
podcast
time.
just to say this.
Just for this.
One time. It was one time. But to be fair, I changed it, not to a granddad.
Can we please say this joke for everyone to understand?
Ricky,
No,
do it.
but how did Ariel? Do you remember how I changed it? I wasn't talking about granddads. I was talking
Anyway,
about.
Can I say something?
What's up?
From your that joke was terrible, was creepy, was cringe, and then he made it less cringe.
Maybe I'll do my version.
Yeah.
which I
but no,
admit-
but I don't remember what I was talking about because I
It
wasn't
was
talking about
cringe
granddads.
because
I was
it's not German
I did.
style.
I was
No,
doing it in
no.
the context of my granddad never took pictures of his food and stuff like that, and or something like that. And then I said,
Wait. I agree that he should say it for everyone to understand.
Oh, but
He
then I'm not
should
going to
say your
repeat it
joke.
because it's. Go ahead.
Well, but Ricky does a much better version.
No,
of
no,
it.
no.
The original
I laughed out
version.
loud.
The original version is me talking about my granddad for like a full minute and a half about like listing all his accomplishments, and then like,
Oh, he doesn't like young people today.
well, he's just like, and things are so horrible in the world today. And you know what my grandfather would say if he were alive today to see all this? Actually, no, I fucked it up already.
No, it's
you know what my grandfather would say if you could see all this? If he was standing here right now, what my grandfather would say?
What's that?
Brains.
Wah, wah.
Beatrice hates this joke so much.
I was the only one.
so
I just
cringe.
exploded. I just love it.
so
We're just
And
kooky.
yeah, this is a record. And
Brains.
like, audience completely silent, and Ricky in the back just like.
But I don't know. It's just because it's cringe. This
Oh, for
Jordan
sure.
doing this is
You know
not
what?
Jordan.
I did
It's
that
not.
joke probably 4 or 5 times because I
You
love that
believed
joke.
in that.
Yeah, I didn't believe it would work, but I enjoyed the joke. I also did it at a Sunday show, and you also were the only one laughing.
And then, but then I'm sorry. How you made it? Can you say it the way you made it?
I honestly don't remember. I think it was very much along the same lines. I think I did the same thing, but I'm not going to deliver it because there's just too much pressure. It's like when somebody says, "Do the thing with the," you can't do
Yeah,
it.
but what? Wait, I don't remember
Just
why.
one,
Did you?
I was gone for a week or something,
yeah,
and then people
yeah,
were
yeah,
telling me, Ricky stole one of your jokes.
Yeah. And I can't remember if I did a works cited because sometimes I'll do a works cited. Like I'll say something. I say, but that's Jordan. And
I think you did do that.
That was,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
singer.
But people were sometimes, and I was like, "That's great. That's an honor."
But I've done your don't.
Yeah. But also, it's like on Tuesday, Terry said my microwave jokes. Before I will go on
She's
stage.
talking about specifically. Okay, for Terry, he did say, "Oh, I'm going to do Bea's joke right now."
He said that.
Yeah, he said that like that. And also, so for the "Don't do that," which is like just for the listeners, that's a English rubber band.
It's
where
so
he's
funny. I
"You
like that.
don't know what you're doing," whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, but you did that super quick. That like because
I was doing my own thing about this Jason Statham.
Ricky's style is very, very much
Yeah,
super
yeah.
fast.
Yeah, let's talk about Ricky's
So
style.
I do want to ask him about that, but like, so it was in between super quick, like no one would have caught it. You were
Yeah.
looking at me and you were just doing that on purpose for me. So I didn't take offense from that at all.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about Ricky's style also because I think he's developed, like it's changing during the time, like it's consistent. Like of course you are yourself, but I could observe that you are going to more like unique, specific. You are changing with the time.
Yeah, and also with Ricky, like when you were saying that your first time you wrote word for word and you even remember the spaces, like for me, your style is the exact opposite.
It is.
Of that.
It's developed from that. Yeah.
So
but, no.
how do you, like for even writing jokes?
But for me, and then you talk what is for you, of course. But for me, Ricky writes everything, but then it looks like he didn't, and he is improvising.
All right, yeah. So like,
Right.
tell
Yeah,
us
well,
how.
now a lot of it is improvised. I have a sort of a framework of things I want to talk about, and one of the things I don't know. I've been to a lot of like lectures, and I've watched at the British Council. I've observed teachers, and it's part of my job to observe them. And we have the Celtic Diploma. We train teachers, and I can see when a teacher isn't holding their attention because they don't believe in what they're saying, and they're just so dry. I'm not sure if I can explain this or even articulate it well. But when a teacher is saying something that they're not passionate about, they don't believe in, it's really terrible to watch them. So if somebody's trying, today we're going to learn about the past continuous tense. You use the past. They don't give a shit about it. So if you don't give a shit about it, teacher, how are they going to give a shit
Yeah.
about it? So
Agree.
I want to really believe what I'm saying, and I'm very passionate about what I'm saying. And I get emotional about what I'm saying, and I think that's what it is. And I also, especially for comedy, you shouldn't have to wait. Many people love this, and we had long conversations about Norm Macdonald, how he's a genius.
Yeah.
But I don't personally like waiting a long time for a payoff. If a guy's going to God, I don't want to. I'm not going to say a name. I'm not going to say a name, but there are those people that we know that they invest a lot of time in a sometimes even 2 minutes in a joke that doesn't have a very big payoff.
Yeah.
And I think, God, you could have done so I tend to. So no, I'm not going to do it.
Mouth his name to me.
But
I haven't noticed.
first of all,
I didn't notice
he's one of my favorite comedians. But sometimes he'll tell you a story, and I thought that, oh my goodness, you're just talking about what you did out of.
But I remember one comedy hole open mic I was hosting, and I was trying out a new joke about my neighbor who's very old, and that she told me that she was hearing voices, and then she got like taken to hospital because like she was seeing ghosts and she's crazy. And then I got pretty far into setting that up. And then you just started being like, okay. And it's just like, get to the point, essentially. So, yeah.
Oh, no. I think
only you.
No, but
and like
he wants to bring up all this stuff out of
yeah, this is Jordan. If you don't know him,
time, Ricky.
he will make you pay for everything with the time. This is how Jordan
But I
works.
think you're extremely quick on your feet, so you think very fast. So for you, those moments are eternities.
I think that's
what it
exactly
is.
an example.
Yeah.
That story is actually okay. It lends itself quite nicely to what we're saying. Is that the weight, and so everyone's different. Everyone likes their own thing, and for some people, that's really I can see some people in the audience enthralled. They have they're like, it's gonna come. But me, I just prefer let's just laugh, and I'm really trying to achieve that, and so. We go back to the example of Robin Williams. Like when I look at some of his stuff, that they made a joke about it on Family Guy one time that 1 in every 10 is good.
Right.
But that's a bit of an exaggeration. But yeah, he was just going through so much stuff, and yeah, I think 1 in 4 was good, and the rest was just talking and just kind of like, oh yes, it's look at this beer, oh yes, oh Mr. Happy, and just going on.
But it is also the fucking tornado that you're watching.
Yeah.
Like I know for you or watching you, I don't even realize 3 I didn't laugh at. Like if that's the case, if that's the case, I don't realize it. I'm watching you, and it's just like, and the audience likes it too. It's like you're watching just like a tornado on stage. It's just fun to watch.
It's like Quicksilver and X-Men. Just really, because it's like for you, those moments, I'm sure, feel if one little thing doesn't land, you're just like, oh my fucking God. Yeah. But for everyone else, that's this long. And then next year.
Right.
And one of the greatest, most golden moments that on stage, and this is like, if we're comparing it to heroin, like the super heroin is when you surprise yourself and make yourself laugh. Like I have had, it happens maybe.
You're great.
It has maybe once a week. Like if I perform 5 times in a week, it'll happen once. Where I'm like,
You have to laugh.
I fucking crack myself up, which is I make myself laugh, and
it's beautiful.
I like that very much when that happens. But
I like watching that a lot.
Yeah, and for me, it's fun. Not only you, but in general, in comedians, when they laugh about their own joke, it's always like it's funny because they believe in what they are saying. Like they believe that's funny, and then naturally it will be funny. I think because maybe. Maybe what you're saying is not funny, but the way you say the delivery, because you believe in what you're saying and it's funny for you, it's going to be funny for everyone.
And if it's natural, which it is, especially because you have that specific laugh, you can go ha ha ha, but your natural specific laugh of like ha ha, go back, lean back, and you're like,
because I'm just like, what the fuck? What did I just say?
People just laugh at that.
And that's like just very, 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 very powerful moment. It makes me very emotional even talking about that because it's just so wonderful. That's why I like experimenting with new material. Okay, so when we're doing something old that we've done for like the 5th time, and some of my material, I'm less passionate about that, and it becomes harder to sell. It's unless I've added something new. If sometimes you're doing old material and something new comes up, and then you're like, bang, oh yeah, I like that. But the process of writing in my kitchen, which I've talked about many times, I write in my kitchen in the morning.
Not on this podcast.
But I'm getting those laugh moments, like the sort of laugh at myself kind of moments. And I imagine that's the way the writers at Family Guy just sort of sit around. They're like, and then Peter says, da 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 da, bang, right. And then that's their laugh moment. So they don't do it during the delivery; they do it. So I'm having a lot of my chuckles in the kitchen, and then when I'll even tell people that's the other thing. The honesty factor is I'll give a joke and I say, oh my God, in my kitchen this morning that was hilarious, but I guess not so much now.
There is a part of it though that where it's like sometimes I'll have a joke where I'm like, I like this, but I didn't word it correctly. You don't have it as much probably, but like I need to word something correctly. Oh, I need to say this before this, and I said this too early in this.
That's particularly with the writing sessions is we can often talk about that. Like, I think if you're going to do that, you need to stage it like that.
With jokes tried and true that work, if you like invert a couple words accidentally, some shows like they just don't work anymore.
Yeah, right.
It's just proof of that.
And so it's kind of just too bad. Also, where like I love that joke you have. I mean, I should say it on mic where it's like Polish people put down a towel.
That's incredible.
It's a great joke.
An incredible
Can you
joke.
say this joke?
Basically, Polish people put down a towel. I mean, I have you say it, but I don't want you. But like, Polish people put down a towel to claim their property.
Yeah.
Like,
so the
the
joke is that could you like when you go to a beach, all the beach chairs are occupied by this towel. So nobody's essentially sitting in the beach chairs. They're just all covered in towels. You know, my son was asking me, why can't we sit in these chairs? And I said, son, because the Polish towel is there. And then he says, well, what does that mean? And I said, well, you know, when America went to the moon and they had a flag and they put the flag. Well, imagine if a Polish guy went to the moon, he'd have his little towel. The towel on the moon, which I don't know if it worked. There's no gravity, so.
Well, the joke works.
See, but I still like that, and like you know, you could tell that for any new audience that's never heard that before, it would be funny.
Yeah.
But for you, you're like.
For sure, if you go like abroad, like and somewhere else to perform, you should do that. Like, it's going to be
I'm
different.
very excited about
because,
that.
the problem, let's say, of Warsaw is that we have a limited audience, right? And sometimes we have a lot of regulars, which is good. But if you go but you cannot say some jokes because they already heard them. Like, you can even like from week to week, and this is good because it means that we need to write more.
Yeah.
This is good because we need to write
like,
more. But at the same time, sometimes I have no idea what to write because I didn't have time to write for like the next day or the next week. Because you need to write new stuff for the next day sometimes.
But one thing that's really good is when you've been doing it for a long, long time, is that 2 years is a long time. So something can sort of come back. Make a comeback and like, you know, the old, that's always fun.
I definitely have
dust
like
off an old, I think I'll dust off motivational speaker, Ricky. And bring it, it's been about 2 years. Yeah, sure. He's ready.
That's totally true. I totally have things like that where I'm like, oh, I told that joke already and I stopped doing it because I knew it worked. And then I come back to it. I'm like, oh yeah, well, I can add this.
We had the show Newer Boo at the Comedy Hole where if the audience hears old jokes, they boo. But like the audience didn't remember shit, like because the comedians stopped using.
They didn't do it. I was so like pick your stereotype. I was the German guy. I was very, very anal retentive about that. I wanted people to obey the rules, and so there was the entree, and he did this stuff. Like the thing's called Newer Boo. You had strict rules, and so he just did his Tuesday night set. And it was Wednesday, and so he's doing his Tuesday night set. And I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here with newspapers from today trying to keep this boo.
Yeah, but I think that like, first of all, there were also new people.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes our jokes are good and people would just want to listen to them.
True.
I mean, people want to enjoy Ricky performing.
Yeah.
They don't want to interrupt him.
It's also, we have a good, I mean, I think Polish people in general are a very good audience and like they're very trained to watch and like observe and be quiet when it's appropriate.
And too quiet sometimes.
Yeah.
Too quiet.
We don't like quiet. We don't
Like
quiet.
expat audience is always the best because you have like a different shit.
Warsaw's the hardest city I perform in for sure. B and I
Hard?
both
Really?
have
It's
been.
difficult?
B and I have both been traveling a lot, and like any other city
That's nice.
is
That's
easier.
nice to know.
Pretty
That's
much.
good. So like getting
No,
getting
but for
training
real,
as
like-
artists.
It's good, and it's good to be living in a hard
It's like
city.
learn how to
because-
climb on Everest.
Exactly. if you go to Barcelona, like Lisbon, like
People are like,
you'll crush as long as it's not pulling specific jokes.
yeah.
But,
Because the level of reason why people laugh is much higher like abroad than here.
people
Like,
want
it's
to
hard-
laugh more.
Yeah, it's
abroad.
hard here to make people laugh. So when you go abroad, like if a joke works here in Poland,
definitely works
for
elsewhere,
sure it will work everywhere else. Like
Unless it's
there is no
Poland
way, but it's not the same the other way around.
Yeah.
I've heard something very, very specific. We had a guy here visit one time at Loco. His name was Nas Amongolu, and I still have him on Facebook. He's a big London comedian, and he said that in fact the London crowd is there because they're so discerning, and they think that they have this authority on what humor is, and so they just sit there, all right, and make me laugh, and they're not hypnotized. They don't want to.
That's London. I don't know. I went to Edinburgh and did like open mic there. It went super well. Like I think it's just not. I think Polish.
Maybe he was
people
trying to intimidate me with London
could be,
is better,
but also like Barcelona's not London. Like Berlin.
I think it all depends because, like, first of all, we'd have to perform in many, many, many cities to know the answer to that. But like, I know, let's say on a Tuesday night, I mean, yeah, it can be difficult, but I think it's also difficult if me as a host doesn't fucking warm them up and doesn't make them comfortable to laugh. And once you do that, like it's right. We've had great crowds on Tuesday or Wednesday where they're laughing at shit where I'm like, all right, that's not that funny. You know?
I never turned down laughs. Yeah,
But there were things in Barcelona. I was doing a show and like it was going really well. And some of the things that people were laughing at a ton, I was like, when I do this in Poland, it's just not going to work. And I tried it. Nope.
Nothing. That's interesting.
But also, for example, I like to perform here because I feel like at home, like I can completely always change my style here. Like one day I can be more like I write like a set, or sometimes like Tuesday I can just
fuck around
and take a dog from the
Here's
the
a dog.
audience. Here's a dog.
Which, by the way, was just, here's a dog. All right, here's your dog back.
Look,
I think
dog.
My favorite be little like you only did it like once or twice, but she was like, "Okay, everyone, can you please stand up? Okay, now sit down." and I saw it worked really well once.
What?
And then,
Really went once? Like,
once it worked great,
And
and
then-
then the next time. Just
And then I
didn't
did
work.
it in Krakow. You remember
Did it work?
in Krakow, like 70 people stand up, and then now you can sit.
Because I think you had too much command of the room, and they were just happy to oblige.
Yeah,
They
but
were just
anyway,
like-
I don't know why. For me, it's not fun. Like I don't know why it worked one
Yeah,
time.
I was going to
honestly.
say, it's lucky it worked once.
Yeah. It can be, so like sometimes maybe you tell a joke that works and then it never work again, and you have no idea why. Like it can be the people, like their mentality, or you on the stage were different, or like the entire night, the other comedians.
It's a lot of factors.
It's
yeah.
like so weird, like so you can never trust when you say
but there's-
one joke.
And Ricky, let me know if you agree with this. I've only been doing it a year, but it's like, it seems like the more you do it, the more there's this huge gradation of jokes where there's like the really fucking good ones that work pretty much everywhere, almost all the time. And then the ones that, the open mic ones that bomb. And there's just a huge variance in between.
Well said. Yeah. I think that's exactly it. I think that there's also, you also have everyone personally has their own ranking of. I sort of look at it like a I don't know what a reverse pyramid, sort of coming down. This is the golden stuff, and this. I think that's actually the way I've cataloged it. Is I've written down like sort of my favorite stuff, and it all sort of just trickles down. I'm not, as comedians, we're asked this question. I'm not sure if you've ever been asked, do you think you could do an hour special? And looking at the way the material's been cataloged, I'm not joking. I would never do it, and it's not all good, hardly. But I think I would have almost like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour. Right. There's about 3 hours of material, and there was this great thing I told you about that when you're going to a show and you're like, well, look, it's a show like Sunday Norblin, and you go shopping through your, it's like shopping through your old material. Oh, I'll take a little bit of this. I'll take a little bit of that. I'll take a little bit of this. But yeah. There's hours and hours of material, but then you just sort of it's ranked, rated.
Norblin is so hard.
Yeah, Norblin's a hard.
Norblin is hard.
I like Norblin.
No, but honestly, it's also like when I was there with my parents, you both didn't go well. Like you both didn't go as usually you do.
But that's your expectations need to be different.
And also,
No.
it's misleading because of the spacing. People are spaced differently.
Yeah, it's hard not because of you guys or us. It's also hard because of people are sitting far. And they laugh, but they laugh like you can see them, but you can hear. People cannot hear people laughing. Is hard.
It's spaced out and it's super high ceiling, so it's just not a good situation for.
And I will stop trying new songs there, Ariel. I've tried 2 new songs there. One of them was, God, it bombed so much.
Oh, it's terrible.
10 Pound Baby.
Yeah, it wasn't good
The rest
at all.
of the set went fine. But,
It went fine. But yeah,
I love Norblin, and I love your show. The Clara one, I'm going to just talk. To be perfectly honest,
yeah.
I love it outside.
Really?
I'm not too fussy about the. It's just too.
Oh, but inside is it's beautiful because it gets messy.
It's just a bit
experience.
It's just a bit cramped. That's all. Outside was some of the most fun I've ever had.
I enjoyed
I
outside too.
had more fun.
Other comedians, they love it inside because of the coziness of the like you can
Crowd work
truly
is
say
easier.
whatever.
I just look at those poor faces popping in the door.
Yeah.
But Ricky, why wouldn't you do a special? Because you said I would never do this.
Oh no, I would never do 3 hours.
3 hours.
Oh, okay.
I would
And
shorten
by the
down
way,
to
the people that are
45
there
minutes.
listening they stay there because they want to listen, even if they don't see, because they
That
are
is
keen
true.
for
That
that.
there's a uncomfortability that maybe you're feeling because they want to. I've stood outside because I'm a comedian and I'm not taking up space.
I
right?
don't want to take up space.
And like people outside are laughing and enjoying it, and they're just listening.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true.
And,
I've seen people.
but like I understand. For me, it's more like, man, it would be great if it was just twice the size with the same intimacy.
But for example, yes, I mean, of course, but we don't have this space. And anyway, for example, the sofa that is in
on the
Clark.
side, yeah.
This is very good because the people that are sitting on the side, they see the other people laughing, like they are, and so it creates this like. What we are all on, like we are on this together, guys. If someone like on Wednesday, Angie Sosnowski, he was bombing, and at one point said, "Guys, I'm bombing," and everyone was like, "No, you can't do that," and this make him feel better, and then he kind of managed to say some joke.
I like the inside. I like the outside just because it's usually
For me, it's more a show outside. Like, wow.
And it just feels like more people. It could be the same amount of people.
It's more people. That's
It's more people.
Like once I think there were 100 people, just including people sitting in the other bars that were listening, people
People
passing,
walking by,
working.
people,
But
I enjoy inside because I had one of my best sets inside because it's the laughs bounce around. Outside is like. Because outside is not usually for comedy. It's usually like, oh, that's not gonna be the greatest set or whatever. But people walking by, it's like you get to kind of poke at them while they're walking by, and the audience. I don't know. There's something. Also, it's so unique. I think just being outside during the summer doing comedy where people are attentive is a unique.
I get that for sure.
But I would say all the Polish girls for me look like the same. It's like, generalization. Like for me, all the Polish girls, they look like the same because they are blonde, tall, and skinny. While all the Italians, they can look like the same.
Yeah. Or sometimes like someone will say, "Oh, I have a friend who looks exactly like you," and I see a picture and it's not the same. Or I ask someone, "This is a guy that doesn't look like me," but he does the same mannerisms or something.
Yeah. I'm so sick and tired of getting all the time. You look like Brad Pitt. You look like Brad Pitt. Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm like, there I know. I've heard it a million times. Jesus. Unbelievable. One more time.
Just too much, man.
Yeah. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that, I'd have a nickel.
And it's from you. Just toss it in the air. Heads or tails. All right.
Anywho.
You have more. Now let's follow your thing. Do you have
Just that it's hard to host it outside. So for us, it's less fun. It's like sometimes it's like pulling teeth hosting outside because no one can hear what one audience person is saying. So you have to repeat everything back. We've talked about this before, so let's not. Yeah.
I think also for outside, it's like bombing isn't that bad. Like if you don't do well, it's not a big deal.
It's that feeling, there's no escape.
Inside, it's like if a joke doesn't work,
Yeah.
it's a bunch of people being like,
Yeah.
But like outside, it's like people walking by, a bus goes by. Like if one joke doesn't go well, you just be like,
Look, a bus.
yeah, exactly.
When the energy drops in that little room, you feel it very viscerally, even for just a moment.
That first time I ever performed there,
It's just eating ice cream.
I did. Yeah,
I was completely like,
Ding. Was somebody stirring a teacup or something? Was it?
Ricky has 20 minutes. Okay. So if we have specific questions,
I have. My questions have been me-centric. I apologize for that.
I'm sorry I stole the joke, for Christ's sake.
No, okay. But
We knew that.
This question is just about Ricky. Okay.
One time you said you didn't like my shirt.
wait before you do that. Okay. Just so the audience knows, like the stealing of the joke was on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
To do that, it wasn't really like Ricky doesn't steal jokes.
Yeah, he doesn't steal jokes.
I don't want to be known as that guy.
Ricky improved my joke and made it work.
Yeah.
also never do that joke.
Unless Ricky does it.
Never touch anybody's.
Okay, this is about Ricky. Okay, I have a question for Ricky.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
So I want to talk to you about my second favorite bit of yours, which is, does my anus look trans?
Okay.
Yeah. See what I'm doing here? It's fun.
Yeah, Jordan is bragging.
And then, wait.
Yeah.
It's so
I owe it all
funny.
to you, Jordan.
What is there anything to talk about there? I think it's funny, but
I was reflecting on. I think because you'd posted. Aha, that's it. You had posted it to TikTok, and I think I was watching it on TikTok, and I actually got it in my head. The absolute brilliance of that song. I
Does
just
my dick look gay?
Yeah, absolutely. And
Is Jordan's song? Does my dick look?
We'll put the song in the show.
And I started singing it to myself, and I said, well, "Where could it go from there? Like, can that be developed anymore? Can we have some other stuff?" And then I thought, "Oh, does my anus look trans?" And
I'm sorry, but this is fun. I mean,
This
it's so fun.
This is why I brought it up.
That's what we'll build on that
genius.
and find out seriously, because does my dick is it a serious question. Yeah, and you're very, very sort of thorough how you go through it. Like, does it look gay? I'll ask other gay people. They're a better sort of barometer of that. And then I was thinking, well, yeah, but what about my anus?
My little girl.
Does it?
But I'm more interested in when did you ask yourself this question?
No. It was completely based on Jordan's material, and I said, but what about other people? What are because you talk about you introduced the whole song as a problem that you've been going through, problems in the world, lots of stuff going on, and look what I have to deal with. And I said, but what about the other people?
Yeah. What about
the forgotten
people who really
fringe-
have it bad?
Yeah.
So basically, Jordan did the song at the beginning, and it's happened a couple times where Jordan does the song at the beginning, does my dick look gay? But then at the end of the show, Ricky closes it off and he's like, I have an original song. And then he does the exact same song.
A lot of people say my anus looks trans.
I remember the first time you did that, it made me laugh so much.
Yeah.
But I also noticed because we have a break in between the show. So at the beginning, it made me cry laughing. It was so funny. But like Jordan does the song, we have a break after a few comedians. Then new people came in during the break. And so they just saw, does my anus look trans?
They had this horrified
And they were
look on
looking
their
around like,
faces.
what the fuck?
Anjay was one of those people, and Anjay turned to me and he was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, it was like I was crying
Yeah,
laughing because it
yeah.
made me laugh so much. And then I watching these people's faces like, what the fuck is this? This doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think I was in town. I think I was in Italy, and Jordan sent me like a message. Ricky is doing my
So
And
funny.
again, does my dick look gay is making fun of straight white men such as myself, not the gay population.
Sure, Jordan.
Yeah, sure. Well, as you said in the song, it's cool to be
It's
gay.
cool to be
Since
gay.
we are talking about Jordan here, I know I have a question. Like, what is your creative writing process?
Oh, just I was again. We've talked about all this stuff so much, but you guys haven't heard it out there. Everything's funny, Beat. Everything is really funny. Everything is hilarious to me. I see the absurd, and it's like a curse. I'm haunted by this day and night. I'm just haunted by ideas. We were talking about eating popsicles. I don't even know if in Italy they have popsicles. It's like frozen water on a stick, and it's And I just was thinking about popsicles, and I said, well, you don't have popsicles anymore, and I would never eat a popsicle in front of my children because I don't want them to eating a popsicle like that. It's not I don't know. It's just
But then you have that idea, you write it down.
and then I write the idea down. But quite literally everything. These great places, the gym. It's all based on your life. Like whatever you do, a lot of you just see these absurdities. A guy at the gym, boxing with himself.
Yeah.
He's in the mirror. He's boxing, and I'm like, I say, well, what if I went over there and tried to break him up? And just said, like, come on, guys, let's just get along.
Hey, we're break it up. You all both look the same.
Or guys making sounds like there's this guy and he's like, "Gah!" and he's like shouting, and I don't think he knows he's shouting because he's wearing those headphones. And so I said, like, wouldn't it be cool if he had like a really girly like this big guy with this so like, and then you just I write them down immediately, and but sometimes they're so like they're disconnected ideas. So like, for example, the guy who makes the weird sound, you have to think of how to, okay, well, I have to do a whole gym thing.
Well, that's what I was going to say is that sometimes, because I have those thoughts all the time. Where it just makes me laugh. But then I look at the thought and I'm like, yeah, how do you make that into a joke? Because sometimes it's just something that makes you laugh.
Something makes you like, you think that's crazy. And then you think, okay, what's the premise for that then? Like, what's just a classic one. I went to Żabka and I based the whole joke. I've said this before, that when I'm scanning material, and I'm like, oh fuck, I work at Żabka now. and so I'm like, hey Ricky, you want a hot dog?
Just talking to yourself.
Yeah. It's just like everything, every single thing I see, it's just like this what if principle. And yeah.
Have you done it? I mean, I'm sure you have many times, but I haven't seen it recently, where you have a joke or an idea that just doesn't work because you thought it was going to be so funny, but it just doesn't work.
Now this is the big philosophical moment. I'm going to answer the question exactly. Before, like, so I remember I got into stand-up comedy. The first time I did stand-up, I was probably, I'm going to say 37. And so I went my whole life thinking these thoughts that I had. And this is the important emotional moment. You can put in some nice music later, nice violin music. Okay. So I would think these things like, oh, look at this guy, Bach, or look at the guy at the gym who's posing and like showing his triceps. And I'd have an absurd thought, or I would do an impression of the Rain Man or Robert De Niro face. And for 37 years, I didn't have a platform, because I just thought this is stupid. Mm-hmm. These are stupid. These are stupid.
You feel crazy.
I feel crazy. I feel stupid. I feel ridiculous. I feel immature. I feel childish. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm giving people, like, I wouldn't repeat such a thing. I would say silly things to some students sometimes because they were kids, but I would never say such things to adults because they're stupid, ridiculous, dumb things to think about.
And then you got on stage.
And I got on stage, and then the amazing moment when people are like. I was like, I remember thinking, what? That's funny,
right?
And then I was like, wait, that's funny.
That's funny.
And then everything that I thought was just a stupid little idea that popped into my head, you turn it into some kind of fuel, and you're like, no, it's not a stupid idea that's popped in your head. It's something that I guess that's. Because they don't teach comedy in school. It's not a subject at school. But I guess that's what these people have been doing their whole life. They've been saying, like, that, you can actually say something and it's not dumb. People will appreciate it. And you may just surprise yourself.
And in fact, it's not dumb. It's actually sometimes a smart thought, but it makes you laugh. Like, even, listen, we were talking about that towel thing.
Yeah.
It's an observation that maybe people get annoyed at or are like, ugh, I hate this. And then you make it funny for them and it brightens up their life.
Yeah. That's the whole beautiful point of comedy. It's really, if you can see something the whole thing about the going to Żabka and I did this for the first. Imagine the first 10 years of my life here, people didn't use card payments a lot. And so you'd always get this, I remember this sentence, nie ma pan drobnych, you don't have the change, and you're buying a Red Bull, and you give them 10 zlotys, and then nie ma pan drobnych, and you could, I turned that into a 5-minute bit, where I'm like, I thought that was your job.
Yeah.
You're the cashier. You got cashier in the name of your job. And then there's that moment where nie mam panu wydać. I don't have any. I don't have the change for you. And then we just sit there looking at each other. And I remember that one day I opened the Red Bull. I went, psh, and I said, well, here's my 10 zlotys. I'm drinking the Red Bull. I have 10 zlotys. What are we going to do now? And I turned it into this whole thing. So we just sat there looking at each other, waiting for Jesus to show up with a big bag of change.
And
I just
it's a huge thing here.
And then I remember that was one thing that I just thought, it's my own quiet little thought. Everyone else is, well, Ricky, why don't you pay by card? But then you get on stage and you say it, especially to expats. Yeah. And the expats went bananas.
Right.
Because they're like, yes, I go to Żabka too, and they they ask me for the change
because it is a very specific Polish thing, and it's always been like that. Yeah. Fucking why?
We can just go through every life situation, parking a car, getting in the elevator with somebody. There's absurdities everywhere.
Yeah, totally.
and if you point them out to people, they'll say like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, because I read once that comedy is also when you make people notice something that they cannot elaborate. Like they experience something, like for example the change in Jabka, but they don't elaborate it out loud. So and then what you do, you go and you say something that they can relate to, and they say, "Wow, why I didn't think about this before?" Like sometimes it happens to me when I listen to you guys or to someone else. I'm like, "Fuck, that's so true. Why I didn't think about this before?"
Right.
And maybe I was thinking about that, but not
comedically
elaborated, like not like a thought, just like passively perceiving life.
I think that all comedians and everybody that you sort of talk to through this podcast will tell you the same thing, that they just every day, at least once a day, at least, depending on how their mind works, they see these things that are just like, oh my God. I mean, every life situation. I had one. I'm going to work into a bit Sunday. I woke up on Sunday morning. I hadn't been drinking. I was going to the gym at like 7 a.m, and the street was empty enough that at that time I could walk almost down the middle of Yanapavwa. There was nothing. There was no traffic. There was nothing. And then I saw this guy who was walking, and I said, "Holy shit! I feel just like I'm in The Walking Dead. Like, there's nobody around, and then there's this guy, change, and he give me change. I'm like, oh my God! Like I'm looking for my crossbow. Like it's The Walking Dead. And then you see those the sidewalk pizzas, I call them. Where somebody is. And they made a big sidewalk pizza.
So true.
And you just see like just every image I have on a daily basis, just absolutely everything. And the whole thing is I have to be ready to write. So I do the old note to self kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and this is a really, really, really important comment that I like to point out, that whenever this thing about running out of material, like, oh, I've got to do some writing. What's happened is you've got yourself in a bit of a rut. The old sentence that a lot of us don't live 365 days in a year. We live one day 365 times.
Yeah.
So what happens is I just find that like I need a week off, and I need to do something different. Go watch a football match, which I don't typically do, or go someplace that I don't typically go, and then boom. Because if my life has become a routine, what's happened is I'm just seeing all the same stuff.
Yeah,
again and
totally.
so I'm seeing the same cashier asking me for the change, the same guy at the mirror doing the posing at the gym, the same, and nothing is new, nothing is funny. So it's not that I haven't had material. I just have to go out and live.
Yeah.
One of the best things I did was take a trip to Bulgaria for vacation, and I just came back with my mind was flooded with 30 minutes of material because of the absurdities. Because I did something in my So if you're just getting a little bit dry for material, go out and live.
Yeah.
And then that's all you need. And then just, pen to paper.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, this has been our guest, Ricky K.
One last question for
Jordan,
Ricky.
shut the fuck up.
I have one last. Ricky,
All right.
Ricky,
Fine,
all right. It's the last question on my list.
Last question with Ricky K.
Ricky, what is your favorite thing about me?
Who's your favorite comedian?
Classic.
No.
It's not a real question.
No, honestly, I
Don't answer the question.
No one wants to hear the answer of this question.
your humble nature.
No.
Ricky, you're incredible.
Yeah.
Ariel, take us to the outro.
Actually, Bea should.
Okay.
Me?
Bea, take us to the outro.
Oh my God, I'm so
Say
excited.
nice things about me.
Ricky, thank you so much for being here to take part of the Comedy Hall podcast. Guys, you can find Ricky almost every week at almost all our open mics that are happening on Tuesday, on Wednesday. Check out the Comedy Hall.
TikTok. I'm on TikTok.
And of course,
What's your TikTok, Ricky?
What's your TikTok?
It's just my name, Ricky Krzyzewski.
That's so hard to write. And by the way, your Instagram, you need to change that.
Yeah, it's too difficult. It's just a lot of K's and Z's.
It'll be in show notes. Yeah.
Yeah, so guys, we will tag Ricky, so you can check his tag in the description of this episode, right, Jordan?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jordan Thomas Gray.
I'm at Jordan Thomas Gray.
Yeah, and Ricky, honestly, every time you're on stage, it's a pleasure. When I have you on the lineup, I'm like, oh, thank God, because we got someone on the lineup, at least for sure. That's a guarantee.
Oh, not always.
When you're not there, people ask. People ask about you.
Okay,
Yeah,
lovely. Wow,
absolutely.
I'm very humbled. I'm very
That's
humbled.
true. Yeah,
You're going to make me cry. Is somebody cutting an onion here?
then that's no disrespect to the other comedians, but it is like
No, but because Ricky is one of these safeguards, like
Yeah.
all the time, like
Totally.
for sure.
Yeah.
You're
As a
too
host,
kind.
I would. I mean, I don't know if you always like to be the last one to close.
No, I like to mix it up. Sometimes I have to be second half, but I don't always have to be at the end.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like not being at the end because I don't feel
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
you tell me.
finishing material.
Sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
So guys, thanks so much for this. Thanks for listening listening. We are Beatrice, Jordan, and Ariel. And today we had Ricky.
Ricky.
Thank you, guys. Ciao.
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 So, guys, follow the Comedy Hall on Facebook, on Instagram. Check out our shows. We will be so happy to talk with you. Also, if you have any suggestion about possible topics for this podcast, reach out. If you want to be part of the podcast, reach out. If you're a comedian, then you stop by Warsaw, come, and we will have fun together on stage. So, ciao.